Hi guys, welcome in. Thank you for joining. So today we're introducing a new tradition for the AHA Student Royal Courts, and it is being presented by the AHA Student Council.
Background. 2 years ago, students from the AHA GSA requested that the AHA Student Council, as hosts and coordinators of all AHA dances, royal courts, and as the elected and volunteer representatives of the student body, to consider adapting the format of our royal courts to be more inclusive for all students and less rigid in terms of qualifying students for a court based on gender. The 2020 student body officers were interested in moving forward with this plan, and then COVID happened. The 2021 student body officers and all grade level officers met to discuss the details and merits of such a change and vote to pass it with a 99% majority. The change to the court system was presented to the full student council and passed by a 90% majority. The language to use neutral words, royalty versus king and queen, was passed by the student council with a 75% majority. The AHA and APS administration supports this change and students-led initiative, as they are in alignment with the mission and vision of the high school, the APS non-discrimination, equity of access policies. These changes will be implemented starting this year with the 2021 homecoming prom celebration and for all future royal courts.
How have we introduced this to our community? Gender-neutral courts concept introduced and debated by the elected AHA grade level and student body officers, and the vote was passed with a 99% margin on February 3rd. Presented to all student council representatives for debate and vote, and it was passed with a 90% margin on February 10th. It was presented to and approved by AHA's Captain Council on February 22nd. It was presented to the APS superintendent, leadership, and board member via email on February 22nd. It was presented to the SEL to staff on March 1st. It was presented plan to Associate Superintendent for Zone 2 and Associate Superintendent for Equity and Inclusion on March 1st. It was presented to family at Family Center office hours on March 2nd. And it was presented to a staff meeting on March 3rd.
What is the APS Procedural Directive regarding equity and inclusion? The APS Procedural Directive on Culturally Responsive Practices is available at the APS website. This is an excerpt from that website. For the purposes of this procedural directive, institutional barriers means a practice that unintentionally or intentionally keeps one group of students from accessing opportunities. Non-discrimination means that no one is denied rights based on sexual orientation, gender identity, and or any other protected status as defined by law in all its programs and activities. Non-discrimination shall include freedom from harassment and retaliation based on sexual orientation, gender identity, and or any other protected status as defined by law. Non-discrimination is critical to ensuring educational equity. Opportunity gaps means the lack of an opportunity to access necessary resources, including extracurricular activities. Opportunity gaps may exist for some students, but not necessarily for all students. What actions must we take to ensure compliance with these directives? It is the district's responsibility to evaluate and correct policies and practices that have resulted in unequal, negative educational impacts. All students, staff, parents, and community members have a vested interest in and should work together to correct systemic inequities. The superintendent will lead APS departments and school site leaders in the following 12 commitments, 2 of which are highlighted for the discussion we're having now. Number 8, facilitate equitable access to co-curricular and extracurricular activities. Number 9, improve school climate by leveraging diversity to create school where students, families, community members, and employees feel welcome, valued, supported, and where students and staff can perform to their personal best. You can view the directive in full at the following website.
How would this change fulfill our AHA mission and vision? Through our leadership as representatives of the student body, Student Council is committed to advocating for a safe and caring environment where each student can be involved and contribute to every aspect of our school and global community, both academic and social. We view Stuco's leadership and advocacy in this endeavor as a critical 21st century skill and consider our facilitation of student involvement in the school community, including activities, to be a critical contributor to student leadership development and a key focus of our class curriculum.
What are we presenting and why? We are presenting the use of a gender-neutral format for our student royal courts, which are homecoming, prom, and winter ball. In doing this, we want to create more opportunities for participation and inclusivity in student activities. We also want to honor the individuals whom our students feel best embody our AHA values, which include character, leadership, kindness, etc., and to receive the most votes in the student elections. We want to honor diversity and individuality within our student body by correcting existing inequities, and to make activities such as royal courts open, accessible, and welcoming to all students. We want to make our elections an accurate representation of student votes and reduce the potential for controversy associated with opposite gender partnering.
What is the current structure of our royal courts? Our royal courts currently look like this. Students are placed on courts based on receiving highest number of votes by gender and campaign with a partner. Students vote for individuals to be the winners. For example, right here we have 6 males and 6 females. Winning looks like this. Girls are queens, boys are kings. The highest votes for boys and girls become king and queen. The second to highest become first prince and first princess. And the third highest boy and girl votes become second prince and second princess.
Challenges with the current model. There are students on our campus who feel left out of the process. Students with a non-binary gender identity who are transgendered, who are questioning their sexuality, do not currently have a way to run for any royal court without having to run in a gender category that does not apply to them. Each year, there is an imbalance between the number of boys versus girls running for court, meaning, for example, that we often have to decrease the number of female court members because we didn't have enough boys interested in running. Because students run with an opposite gendered partner and winners are partnered into male-female winners, there can be an unwelcome romantic connotation. The current voting system does not recognize winners as having the highest number of votes, but simply acknowledges their placements within each category, boy and girl.
We present a new model. Court will be composed of individuals receiving the highest number of votes regardless of gender. They will campaign as individuals with no partners. Winners will be determined by the highest total number of votes regardless of gender. Winners are not partners, as in king and queen. There will be the top 2 winners in each category identified as individuals. The students with the most votes overall will be royalty. The students with the second most votes will be high court. The students with the third most votes will be second high court.
The selection and voting process will not change. So for homecoming, the seniors will self-nominate, otherwise volunteer. The seniors will select the court, and the student body selects the winners. For winter ball, the teachers will nominate students at each grade level to serve on the court, and students at each grade level select the winners. For prom, the teachers nominate seniors for court, and the student body selects the winners.
Why is this change needed? We recognize the value of diversity within our student body through ethnic and special interest clubs and organizations, ethnic study classes, cultural celebrations, etc. All-inclusive courts are a natural next step towards correcting systemic inequities and upholding the rights of all students. AHA strives to create a safe and inclusive culture that encourages non-binary students to be their authentic selves outside of the pressure of traditional gender norms. Despite our efforts, some of our most prominent social events are not open to all students. Not everyone feels included or welcome in these events. We want to change that. In any election, students should be selected and win based on their own merits and individuals and because they receive the highest number of votes. This is not the case with our current voting format. We want students' votes to count. We want our courts to be fun and celebratory space where students don't feel pressured to appear attached to someone they aren't socially or romantically attached to.
How the new system makes student votes count. Under the current format, we see 6 students who have been elected to High Court by our student voters. Student A, a girl, has 200 votes, the most votes of any of the other girls. She becomes the queen. Student B, a boy, has the most votes of any boy at 210 votes. He becomes the king. Student C, a girl, has 195 votes, making her first princess. Student D, a boy, has 205 votes, making him first prince. Student E, a girl, has 192 votes. She becomes second princess. Student F, a boy, has 200 votes, making him second prince. We compared this to the presented format, wherein students are ranked not by gender, but by overall amount of votes, meaning that now student B, who has the most votes of any other students at 210, becomes royalty. Student D, in second place overall, with 205 votes, also becomes royalty. Student A and student F both have 200 votes, placing them on first High Court. Student C has 195 votes, and student E has 192 votes, making them the second High Court.
Frequently asked questions. What kind of crowns will winners receive? All court members will receive sashes as usual, and crowns will be a unisex style. The graphics are shown above. Does AHA or APS administration support this change? Yes, school and district leadership support this student-led initiative and recognizes the need for greater inclusivity. This change is in line with the AHA mission and vision and the APS non-discrimination policies. Why are we using gender-neutral titles rather than giving kids the options to choose traditional ones? Expecting students to choose traditional or gendered titles rather than remaining neutral could place a student in an uncomfortable or potentially dangerous situation with friends, family, or the community. Neutral titles remove the potential for these complications, and this was passed with a 75% majority in the student council. What if 2 boys win? Then 2 boys will win because that is who the student selected to win. Winners will be presented as individuals or within the context of a full group, neither as a couple. Never, sorry.
Discussion and questions. Please drop your questions and comments in the chat or raise your hand to be called on.